And France is yet again on a crucial juncture. The Prime Minister is facing a high-stakes vote in the Parliament. The vote on social security budget could be a make-or-break deal for Sébastien Lecornu. The French Parliament is fractured, and getting a majority of the lawmakers to back any proposal remains an uphill task for the government. Forging alliances and tough negotiations is the only way to try and get the legislation too. At this time also it is expected to be a close call for Lecornu. Now, the French Prime Minister has managed to win the support of the socialists by suspending Macron's landmark pension reforms, but in the process he's pushed away the centrists and the conservative allies. Now, this equation leaves the fate of the bill uncertain. Now, the far right and also the hard left side of the political spectrum are in a bit of a battle mode. They are happy with Lecornu's concessions to win the socialist support, and Marie Le Pen's national rally has said that it will vote against the bill. And the party's 123 lawmakers are expected to turn up in the National Assembly. Now, earlier in the day, Marie Le Pen repeated the demands for fresh polls. She said that it is impossible to move forward without a clear majority, and those who oppose fresh elections are destabilizing the country. The fate of the full budget, of course, depends on the outcome of today's vote. Unlike the US's failure to pass the budget proposal will not push France into a shutdown, but it will roll over the previous year's budget. And if this bill fails to pass, it will jeopardize France's goal to keep the budget deficit below 5%. Now, Sébastien Lecornu has already refused to use special constitutional provisions to get the budget through without a vote, but the threat of no confidence motion still looms, and the far right and the hard left can place a bid to bring Lecornu down, forcing France into deeper political turmoil. All right, now to give us some more updates on this, we're joined in this broadcast by Ross Cullen, who's joining us live from Paris. Ross, this is another high-stakes vote that Sébastien Lecornu needs to just jump, or give us a sense of why this is such a crucial vote for Sébastien Lecornu and for France.
Well, the vote is taking place a little bit later on this afternoon inside the National Assembly, France's lower house of parliament. You can see behind me here in the centre of the French capital, and the Prime Minister himself says it might come down to just 2 or 3 votes. That's how tight it is. No one party or faction in Parliament has anywhere near anything like a majority, and so there's always having to be compromises made. And we know that the socialists from the opposition are going to vote with the government, but the government's own allies, the Horizons Party, have said they will abstain. And so you don't have the normal makeup of people voting for this that you might. There are going to be other opposition MPs that will vote in favour of it, other government MPs that will vote against the social security budget. And so it is very hard for the Prime Minister to try to work out if it's likely that this will pass or not. The French budget is being debated in multiple stages. This is the biggest stage so far for social security for 2026. If this vote fails this afternoon, it's hard to see how the rest of the budget approval process for next year can continue. It's a race against time because they do need this signed off, obviously, before we get to 2026, which is in just 3 weeks' time. There is the possibility of using special decree powers to keep spending and saving plans rolling over into next year. So there's no chance of a US-style shutdown here in France, but it would be really impossible for the Prime Minister to avoid calls for his resignation this afternoon if the vote fails. He has previously resigned in October, but before he was reinstated by the President, he could well face further calls for his resignation later today.
Some very interesting developments there. Thank you very much indeed, Ross Cullen, for joining us from Paris and getting us those updates there. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.